Inequality says that if you have a triangle, the sum of two legs has to be greater than the third leg. So if you take the lengths of two legs and you add them together, it has to be greater than the third. And this is one of those things where it's sort of logical, because if I have this triangle and these two legs aren't going to add up to being longer than this leg, they won't be able to meet, right? Does that make sense? Because if
two sides, or when you say two legs?
Any two sides. So like, you pick any two sides, you add them together, it's going to be bigger than the third side. And I can't draw very well. Hold on, let me try this. I'll show you why this works. So I have one side, and then I have another side, and then another side, right? Well, if I take the sides of the triangle, no, not that, this, and I fold it flat down, see how they overlap? But if I make this side here to where these two are the same length as the third side, and I bring them back up, they can't connect. Like, it has to be bigger in order to make a triangle. Does that make sense? Okay. So what that tells us is that PQ and QR has to be greater than PR. Has to be. Also, PQ plus PR has to be greater than QR. And QR plus PR has to be greater than PQ. So it works with any two sides. So if I take the red and the blue, it's greater than the black. The red and the black is greater than the blue. The blue and the black is greater than the red. And it has to be that way, regardless of what the lengths are.
This is confusing.
No, it makes sense if you think about it. Remember this picture I was drawing? In order to check if this is possible, if these are possible triangles, you just take groups of two numbers and add them together and see if they're bigger than the third. So I try 8 plus 15. 8 plus 15 is 23, which is greater than 17, so that one's okay.
What? Okay.
So I used 8 and 15, and it's bigger than 17.
Okay.
Okay. And then I can use the next two, so I can do 8 plus 17, which is 25.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Which is greater than 15, so that's okay. And then the last two I haven't added are 15 plus 17, but I already know that that's greater than 8, correct?
Wow.
Because 15
when you add it together?
15 is bigger than 8, 17 is bigger than 8, so when I add them together, it's going to be bigger than 8, right? So yes, this could be a triangle. If I do the first two on this one, I get 6 plus 8 equals 14. It cannot equal. It has to be bigger. Can't be the same, yeah. No, the two sides can be the same length, but when you add them together, they're still going to be bigger than that third side. And even if you have an equilateral, right, 3 plus 3 plus 3, the two sides will always be bigger than the third, yeah. But say, they can't equal, so this is not a possible triangle. 2 plus 8 is 10, right? Which is less than 11, so no. Can't be less, can't be equal, has to be bigger. So we could try some more, just let's say 3 and 6 and 10. No, not 10. 3 and 6 and 7. Okay, so can this be a triangle? I do 3 plus 6, 6 plus 7, and 7 plus 3. 3 plus 6 is 9, that's greater than 7, that's okay. 6 plus 7 is 13, that's greater than 3, so that's okay. And 7 plus 3 is 10, which is greater than 6, so yes, this can be a triangle. And you'll notice once I got here, I didn't have to check all the other sides, right? So a possible technique is add up the two smallest sides, and if they're bigger than the largest side, you're okay, right? You don't have to go through, if you add up the two smallest sides and they equal or are smaller than the biggest side, then you know it's not going to work. You don't have to go through the next two sides to keep going, because as soon as one doesn't work, it can't be a triangle. So we'll start with our two smallest, 2 and 3
5
is greater than 4, so that's okay. And then 3 plus 4
7
is greater than 2, and 2 plus 4 is greater than 3. So yes, we can make a triangle.
Do we have to show our work like that, or?
No, you don't. If you can do this, I see 5 plus 7 is 12, greater than 9. 7 plus 9, greater than 5. 5 plus 9, greater than 7. Like, I know you can do that. If you need to write it down, write it down. If you don't, that's okay too. 4 plus 8 is 12. That's greater than 11. And then I have 8 plus 11 greater than 4, and 4 plus 11 is greater than 8. So yes. 13 plus 13 equals 26.
We'll have to know.
How about this one?
9 plus that's 19. That's less than 20.
Right, so less than 20, so no. 15 plus 17 is going to be bigger than 19,
That's
right?
32, right?
Yeah. And then 17 and 19 will be bigger than 15. And 15 and 19 will be bigger than 17. So this one is okay. 14 and 17. Oops, 17, not where that came from.
That's 31.
31, so
That's equal.
no. And then 6 and 7 is 13, so that's greater than 12. 6 and 12 will be greater than 7. And 7 and 12 will be greater than 6. So, yes. Sometimes we're told two sides of the triangle, and we need to find the range of numbers that the other side could be between. So what we have to do is we have to set up 3 problems. Okay, so we have our sides. We have a 3 and a 7 and an unknown side. So we can call that side X. Okay. Now I know that 2 sides have to add up and be greater than the third. So 3 plus 7 has to be greater than X. 7 plus X has to be greater than 3. And 3 plus X has to be greater than 7. These are my 3 problems that I'm going to need to solve to find the numbers that X can be between. Does that make sense so far? Set up? Okay. Any questions on it? Okay. Well, the first one, that one's relatively easy. 10 greater than X. That one's okay. The next one, I need to subtract 7 from both sides. And so X has to be greater than negative 7. And here I have to subtract 3 from both sides. And X has to be greater than 4. Now, here's where we get into a little bit. That should be -4. You're right. Thank you. I just realized that. -4. I just wrote -7 over again. Like, whatever. Okay, so here's where we get you have to look at these two numbers. We know that x has to be less than 10. Okay, so here's x, and 10 is going to be bigger than that. So what we need to figure out is what number goes over here. -4 is less than 4. And since we have this side has to be greater than 4, that's the smallest we can go. Because if I put in a 2 or a 3 or anything else between -4 and 4, this won't be true. And it has to be true for all three. So whenever you have the two greater thans, you're going to pick the larger one. And that'll be the smallest number you can have. Because if I pick anything smaller than 4, it won't be true over here, even though it would be true here. And it has to be true for all three. Does that make sense?
Rewrite it again?
Yeah, so you rewrite it. You don't have to write it like this. You can write it, you can say x greater than 4, x less than 10, like that. Or you can put it together like this. Yes?
We're not getting an exact answer.
No, we're not going to get an exact answer. We're going to get a range of possibilities. So as we can use anything between 4 and 10. It can't be exactly 4 because it has to be greater than 4. So like 4.1 is okay, and 9.9 is okay, and anything in between there is okay. Or you don't have to rewrite it if you don't want to. You can just do this and maybe do that. So I know that you know you can't use this one.
Okay.
Just something that lets me know you know that this one's not okay. It has to be this one. You still have to find all three and then figure out which one doesn't work. This doesn't really have enough room, so we're going to have to kind of go back and forth between this and blank pages, but we'll start with number 9. Okay, so I'm going to have 5 plus 9 to be greater than x plus 5 to be greater than 9, and x plus 9 to be greater than 5. So those are my three possibilities. 5 plus 9 is 14. I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides here and not rewrite 9 again. Oh, last time when I did this, I said 3 minus 7, and I just wrote minus 7 again. Not making the same mistake twice. Today, anyway. Okay. So we end up with kind of similar situation here with the -4 and the +4. It can't be the -4, so I'm going to have these two. And if you want to rewrite it, you would write 4 less than x less than 14, like that. And go ahead and put an x through that. So if we look at this, my setup is going to be 7 plus 14 greater than x. I actually could draw an x. 7 plus x greater than 14, and 14 plus x greater than 7. 7 plus 14 is 21. Subtract 7 from both sides. X has to be greater than 7. And here, if I subtract 7 from both sides, or sorry, 14 from both sides, I get that -7, which I'm going to get rid of and keep these two. And to write the answer all together as 1, I put the smallest number, the x, and then the largest number. But again, you don't have to, this is okay.